What's happening, people? We are here. We are live. Happy Monday to everybody locked in on this beautiful summer day. Guys, I can't believe it, man. The weather in the UK, guys. 1 minute it's raining. 1 minute it's... I don't know what's going on. I really don't know what. But today it's nice and sunny. How it's been actually over the last couple days. And as always, there is something to talk about in the world of Manchester United football. We got so much to talk about today. One thing I'm happy about is the use of Fofana links. Now, I don't know how cemented that is, but we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the newest bid rejected for Manchester United, Matthias de Ligt from Bayern Munich. We're going to talk about PSG offering Jadon Sancho a contract. Now, that's something I did not see on the horizon. I did not expect that to happen. But news came out this morning that Manchester United's Jadon Sancho was or has agreed terms with PSG. We're going to talk about that, and I want to hear everybody's thoughts specifically on the Jadon Sancho thing, because of course we've seen him be reintegrated into the first team. We've seen him play in pre-season a few days ago, which he had a good performance. I want to know if you lot think it's time to go their separate ways. And of course, we're going to talk about a lot more other stuff as well. So listen, be sure to hit the like button. Be sure to subscribe. I'm sorry for being late, guys. I just had to go out and I had a doctor's appointment and all of that kind of stuff. And then I came back and I was late. It happens. Life happens sometimes, guys. Don't get onto me. I'm so sorry. But you know what it is, man. We're here with the daily content as always. Make sure you lot follow me on all platforms. Did I just unplug my mic? Yeah, I did. I'm such an idiot. But make sure you follow me on all platforms, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. You can find it right here, same as my channel as well. We've got a lot of exciting stuff coming up on social media in the coming weeks. Of course, the transfer season is well and truly underway, and the Premier League season is really not that far away, guys. There's about 3 weeks or so until Manchester United kick off the Premier League campaign on a Friday night. It's not that far away, and Manchester United are still looking to add additions to their team. Very interesting, but I do think a lot of it does depend on outgoings. We saw Manchester United have new structure in place, and with that new structure comes communication. Umar Barada came into the role, addressed Manchester United fans in his first few days. Dan Ashworth now has written a letter to Manchester United fans talking about everything that's going to happen, or the goals for Manchester United. He spoke about the academy. He spoke about the first team. He spoke about taking Manchester United back to the top. And one thing that really, I think a lot of other Manchester United fans were happy with, of course, the people who watch women's football, was that he spoke about Manchester United women and the plan for that. So it was very refreshing, I'll say, to hear. It was very nice to hear. We're going to go through that and kind of go through the little details of what he said when addressing fans. Like I said, it's really nice to have some sort of transparency, some sort of communication, something that I think fans have not really been privy to in the past. And then we're going to talk about all the transfer related stuff. Now, of course, Manchester United, I think, depart for their American leg of the pre-season in the coming days. Rasmus Hojlund has returned. Christian Eriksen will return. I think it's expected that Bruno Fernandes and Diogo Diallo will report for training soon. Scott McTominay has returned, and I think the England players will return at a later stage. But listen, let's get straight into it. Let's start with Dan Ashworth and what Dan Ashworth had to say in his open letter to Manchester United fans. Now, I'm not going to go through the entire letter because it's a long message. But we're going to pick at the details. We're going to pick at the most important parts of the detail. And this is one thing that really stood out to me. Dan Ashworth said that the focus is getting back to being among the best on the pitch. It won't happen overnight, but together with Omar, however you want to pronounce it, and his new leadership, we will not rest until we have achieved it. Now, communication for me is the most important thing when it comes to this kind of stuff. Let me just turn off my fan because I'm about to sneeze. But I think communication is the most important thing when it comes to Manchester United, especially with this new ownership. Transparency, honesty, something that Manchester United fans, like I said, have not been privy to in the past under the Glazers. I think Murto and Arnold tried a little stint at it. I'll say a little PR stunt when they were pictured sitting down with fans in a pub. They attempted it, but nothing of this level. And when I say of this level, I mean it's professional, it's corporate, and it's a very nice communication message to fans. Dan Ashworth went on to speak about the academy and the first team. And he said, delivering a successful women's team and a thriving, productive academy are both key objectives of my job. And I have strong backgrounds in both areas. Women's football was an important part of my roles at Newcastle, Brighton, and the FA, and it will be the same at Manchester United. Women's football is arguably the most exciting area of growth in the global game, and we want to be a part of it. Now, of course, if you lot don't know, Manchester United women won the FA Cup last year, but finished outside of the top three in the WSL, which meant that they did not qualify for Champions League. They went on to then lose Mary Earps on a free deal. They lost Katie Zellem, but they've also brought in some resurgences so far. They've signed Melvie Mallard on a permanent deal, and they've also brought in Elizabeth Turland, baller, top striker, top number 9. They've brought her in, and they're expected to bring in a few more other players. They're expected to bring in a DM, expected to bring in a goalkeeper, expected to bring in a fullback, bring in some more depth to the team. So that, plus the fact that they've extended Mark Skinner, but only for 1 year, just kind of shows that Dan Ashworth is actually, I feel like he's being actually quite honest, where he's saying that he wants to, the goal is to eventually, invest heavily in the women's team and create a thriving environment, because they've given Mark Skinner a 1-year deal. And on top of that, I think that's just enough time to get their house in order. Dan Ashworth went on also to talk about Umar Barada, of course, the Manchester United CEO, poached from Manchester City. And he said Umar Barada has started as the chief executive and Jason Wilcox as a technical director. And I can assure you that we lost no time in getting to work, bro. They hit the ground running. All of them, from day one of them getting into their role, they hit the ground running. He went on to say, our first big decision of the summer was to extend Erik ten Hag's contract, reflecting our strong belief in him as one of Europe's top coaches and the partner we want to continue working with to get the team back to the levels expected. He went on to say, this remains one of the biggest football clubs in the world, but that is not our measure of success. I love it. He's basically saying it don't matter how big the club is valued at financially, how marketable the club is, because what did Ed Woodward always used to boast about when he used to talk about how profitable the company was, or the club was, how much the shares were valued at, how much they were able to pay out in dividends, the profit that they were making. That's not what he cares about. Dan Ashworth don't care about that. He doesn't care the fact that, he said that it's not the measure of success. And that is 100% true. The measures of success is silverware. That's how you measure a club that is successful. He then went on to say the focus is on getting back to being among the best on the pitch. It won't happen overnight. He then went on to say, we are clear that last season fell below the required standards. I love the word standards. Fell below the required standards in the Premier League and Champions League. But by winning the FA Cup in such an impressive fashion, our players and staff show that they are capable of when everyone pulls together and performs to their potential. Our collective challenge is to reach those levels much more consistently. It's my job, together with Jason, to create the right support structures and environment around Eric, the staff, and the players to make it possible. Already, I can feel a strong sense of energy and determination around the group as the players and the staff return fresh from their breaks, including some exciting new additions to the club. So he's just been very transparent. That's what we like to see. We like transparency. We like open communication. We like honesty. And I don't want to say his buzzwords that he's used, because I genuinely believe what he's saying. I genuinely believe it. And you lot know when Ineos came in, I said I will judge them based on their first summer transfer window and how they approach everything when they have all the right people in place. And that's what I will continue to judge them on. That's what I'm going to judge them on. And right now, they're doing pretty decently. But listen, I know you lot are here to talk about transfers. I know you lot are here to talk about the newest gossip, or if you want to call it that. So let's get straight into it. I flopped, guys. I flopped big time, because I said, after the preseason game on Saturday, I said we will get a here we go for Ugarte or Ligt in the next 36 hours. We didn't. This is why I need to be careful, because I was a tier 1 source once upon a time, but slowly it's kind of going a little bit downhill. But the newest update on Matthijs de Ligt today, is that Manchester United had a rejected offer from Bayern Munich, which was worth a grand total of 29 million pounds. That's 35 million euros. That's about 15 million euros off what Bayern Munich valued De Ligt at. Now, this is what Manchester United's negotiation tactics kind of seem to look like, that they go in low, then they slowly increase it, maybe closer and more in line with what the club is asking for, and then be able to negotiate from there. 25 million plus 4 million in bonuses. That is 10 million less than what they offered first for Jared Branthwaite. When Manchester United first went in for Jared Branthwaite, what was it? It was 35 million plus 10 million in add-ons. Now they've put in a bid, the first, and this is also, guys, the first official bid that we've seen for Matthias de Ligt. I actually don't think we've seen an official bid be rejected thus far yet. This is the first one. Now, clearly Manchester United are gonna bring in another defender. I think that is very clear as day. Jared Branthwaite, according to sources today, is expected to sign or has a new offer. Let me just double check, but has a new offer or is planning to get a new offer from Everton for a new contract. Everton have no intention on paying or of letting him leave this summer, by the way. They have no intention of letting him leave, and they told Manchester United, leave us alone. Now, this was reported today by Fabrizio, who said that Everton are preparing a new contract. By the way, he tweeted it earlier this morning that Everton are planning a new contract proposal for Jared Branthwaite after rejecting 2 bids from Manchester United. The club have determined that they will keep Branthwaite unless a huge bid arrives. Manchester United, and Fabrizio has kind of confirmed it, I think David Ornstein also confirmed it a couple of days ago, Manchester United have no intention of paying the transfer fee that Everton value Jared Branthwaite at. And according to Fabrizio Romano, this is 75 to 80 million pounds. Like, English tax is real. That the English tax is really, really real. And Manchester United, by the way, have not helped themselves because, of course, in the past, they've kind of inflated it. They've inflated the transfer market when they brought people like Harry Maguire, etc., etc. Now, it's expected that the new proposal will be agreed in the summer. So I can anticipate that buying Jared Branthwaite might be a little bit more difficult in the future if there's an opportunity in the future that arises. Now, next summer, we don't know what happens. Everton might get relegated. They might not get relegated. So they might not be in a position where they need to sell him. They might not be forced. Their hand might not be forced. Of course, it's just all if, buts, or maybes right now. Now, it's clear as day, I think, that the way that I see this situation, and let me know, guys, your thoughts. Do you think Jared Branthwaite is worth 80 million? And do you think Matthias de Ligt is worth the 50 million euros that Bayern Munich are asking for? Now, if you don't know, Bayern Munich want to buy Jonathan Tah from Bayer Leverkusen. In order to buy him, they need to sell this guy. Now, of course, Bayern Munich have also been active in the transfer window. They've brought Michael Olise. They've brought Paulinho. They're also trying to buy Xavi Simons. If Xavi Simons doesn't work out, they want to buy Desire Doué. Bayern Munich are getting active in the transfer window, and they cannot do that without selling people. They've put De Ligt on the transfer market. They've put Kimmich on the transfer market. They've put Mazraoui on the transfer market. There's multiple players that they have put on the transfer market that have not been sold yet. So clearly they are probably hoping on the idea of selling Matthias de Ligt. Now, 25 million plus 4 million in add-ons. GBP, guys, GBP. I'll try my best to actually talk about everything in GBP, because talking about it in euros and that it gets kind of confusing. But 29 million pounds in total for Matthias de Ligt. I wouldn't say it's completely unreasonable, but I do think Manchester United are lowballing to start off. Now, I would say that Matthias de Ligt is probably 35 plus 5. I would say that would be reasonable. 40 million pounds for Matthias de Ligt is I think that's a reasonable fee. Branthwaite is worth 55 max. And the thing is, with Jared Branthwaite, I genuinely think, and I've said this time and time again, I do think Manchester United's preferred centre-back that they wanted in the transfer market after Lenny Yoro, because, by the way, I remember back in June it was being reported that Manchester United's number 1 target was Lenny Yoro, and then the second one was Jared Branthwaite. I think Jared Branthwaite is going to be one of those situations for Manchester United where if they can't get him, Matthias de Ligt is the second best option. But Lenny Yoro for me is going to be the starter. Like, he's going to be the starter. I've seen enough on the weekend, and I've seen enough of him, just generally speaking, to be like, you know what, I think he can. I think he can be the starter. Now, of course, like I said, Manchester United have to sign a centre back, and going in low maybe sets it off easily for them. Maybe it starts it off a bit easily for them. But of course, we got a bit more to talk about. Starlord says no, 60 and 40 for both. I think 60 and 40 is. I think 40 million for Matthias de Ligt is reason. Honestly, I think that is so reasonable. I think 40 million pounds in total is very reasonable for Matthias de Ligt, and I also don't think that 75 or 80 million for Jared Brantford is reasonable. I don't think that's what he's valued at, and no one could ever tell me that. Alex says I would go offer 35 plus 5 for Davis. He has 1 year and is Real Madrid bound like Euro was. The thing is like, I think Alphonso Davies is a great left back, by the way. But do you guys remember what Erik ten Hag said about him in the first game in the Champions League? When Erik ten Hag said that he's not a good defender, and then Alphonso Davies went on to have an amazing game against Manchester United. I don't know if you lot remember it, but I remember pre-game, first game of the Champions League, Erik ten Hag talking on TV, and he was talking about, he was asked a question about Alphonso Davies coming up against Palestri, and he went on to say, Alphonso Davies basically is not a good defender. I can't imagine Manchester United now going for a player that the manager literally blasted live on television. But also, I think inevitably Alphonso Davies is going to end up at Real Madrid. The same way I always said that I see Trent ending up at Real Madrid at some point. I see Alphonso Davies ending up there now. It's going to be interesting what Bayern Munich do, because it's, again, they either sell him now or they lose out on him next summer on a free, or even January. He might have already agreed terms with Real Madrid by now. The thing is with Real Madrid, they know their targets, and I feel like Real Madrid know the pool that they have, just as a club, the name, the heritage, the current status of Real Madrid in world football. They're not fussed. Like, obviously, I saw Real Madrid fans rattled when they lost out on Lenny Yoro, but I don't think Perez is losing any sleep on the possibility of losing Alphonso Davies or whatever. I don't think so. 60 and 40, not good business, especially 60 for Brantford. Come on, yeah, I think 60 is too much for Brantford. I don't think Brantford is, like, I think 50 million. Like I said, I think I've said this in the past before. I don't think that there is a defender in world football right now that is probably worth 80 million. Maybe Saliba. I would say maybe Saliba is worth that at best. But I don't think right now, English defender. I don't think there's an English defender right now that is worth 80 million. I personally think a price tag of 60 to 65 million for Mark Guéhi is more reasonable than a price tag for 75 million for Jared Brantford, because Mark Guéhi also was England's best player at the Euros, and he's I think he's I wouldn't say he's underrated, I'll say he's an underappreciated defender in the Premier League, because he's at Crystal Palace. If he was playing at one of the top 6 or the top 4 teams, people would be raving on about him all the time. But I don't think that there's a defender right now in English football, or an English footballer who's a defender right now who's worth that price. It's the English tax that comes with Jared Brantford. 55 million for me even is too much. Like Ridwan in the chat said Brantford is worth 55 million max. I think maximum, yes, but even that is a lot. I genuinely feel like that is a lot. And if Manchester United don't sort this, by the way, I don't want to end up in another situation come start of the season where Manchester United are still trying to negotiate for a defender. Like, we were all on this, oh my god, look, moves after moves after moves. When it came to Euro, and then Ugarte, personal terms agreed, la-di-da-di-da. United just need to keep it moving. They need to get on their Zoom. ASAP. But on that topic, let's talk about midfielders. Let's talk about the topic of central midfielders, because I feel like that is the hottest topic right now for Manchester United. Of course, we're going to talk about Fofana and Amrabat. We're going to talk about my boy Youssouf Fofana. Like, it's the hope that kills you. It's really, you know what? Let's actually start with Youssouf Fofana. I think actually let's start with Youssouf Fofana. I posted this, guys, in May, right? I posted this picture in May 2024, but it has a screenshot of a tweet. I don't know if you can see the tweet there, and it's me in 2023. So last summer I was saying, bring me Youssouf Fofana. If you lot know, I've been ranting and raving about the fact that Manchester United should get Youssouf Fofana, or even go and steal his partner Mohamed Kamara. Now, AC Milan will hate Manchester United. I'm not joking. They will hate Manchester United if not only they nicked Xerxes, but they managed to nick Youssouf Fofana. Now, how can I describe Yusuf Fofana? I've seen people comparing him to Amadou Onana, and I wouldn't go as far to say that they are very similar, but they do have similar, I say, attributes. In that Monaco midfield after Tchouaméni left, he became that more box to box. He's not, I wouldn't say he was the deep lying player. He was more the 8 in the midfield. Now, can he play 6? Yes, he can. But even at the World Cup, when he went with France, he was playing more as a box to box, more as an 8. At Monaco, because he's got Mohamed Kamara next to him, that just cleans up. Literally, if I was looking for a 6 and I'm looking at Monaco, I would not, like, as much as I'm saying United should get Fofana because he's a reasonable fee. I think 20 million was the price tag originally, and he's approaching his last year of his contract. So I think him and Monaco have a gentleman's agreement where they've agreed to let him leave. Last summer, Nottingham Forest was bidding for him, got rejected. Nottingham Forest ended up buying Ibrahim Sangare from PSV. This year, Monaco will have to sell him. Now, he's not their most, I would say, sellable asset. He can bring in a reasonable transfer fee. I think that that Monaco are bidding on the idea of Mohamed Kamara, his midfield partner, to be the more valued midfielder. Now, like I said, if I was to go for a 6, just like someone that can just hold that ground, I'm going for Mohamed Kamara. But of course, he's going to be a bit more pricey. Yusuf Fofana at 20 million. And then we're going to talk about it because Fofana and Amrabat is another player that Manchester United are reportedly looking to maybe re-sign on, and maybe on different terms. And they're talking to Fiorentina. That plus Ugarte, that's 3 midfielders that Manchester United can bring in with the possibility of it. Fofana to us ain't happening. Fabrice Hawkins tweeted he reached an agreement with AC Milan, and Fabrizio reposted Fofana to Milan post again. The thing is, guys, can I just say, Yusuf Fofana agree in personal terms with AC Milan, unless he's like one of them people who are a man of his word, similar to like Amadou Onana, because Manchester United apparently reportedly tried to swoop in last minute, but Amadou Onana turned it down because he said he gave his word to Aston Villa, and he was announced today as an Aston Villa player. Now, Zirkzee and AC Milan agreed personal terms. Can I just say that? I just want to put that out there, that just because a player agrees personal terms with one team doesn't mean another team is completely out of the race. Now, of course, AC Milan probably has Champions League to offer, etc. But then again, Manchester United were able to nick Joshua Zirkzee. And I will say nick Joshua Zirkzee off them because AC Milan didn't want to negotiate the agent commissions. So that was already a hurdle that they were at. They agreed personal terms with Joshua Zirkzee for his contract, but not for an agent commission. Is like Alex says, it's not done until it's done. Honestly, I agree. It's not done until it's done. But I will say, one thing I will say is that, like I said, if he's like Amadou Onana, where he says, I already gave my word to AC Milan, then I respect it. I hear it. But then Manchester United are also visiting this idea, the idea of Fofana and Amrabat. And we've spoken about it time and time again here on the channel, guys. I told you lot. Who's it? KG came on my channel last week in the comments saying what's happening with Amrabat. And I said, well, he's going back to Fiorentina. He's probably like a final resort option for Manchester United. I don't think Man United are looking at Amrabat as the sole answer to that midfield. I think Manchester United are looking at him as an alternative, a rotational player. Simple as that. And that's not me saying that he can't start, because we know he can start. He's shown us that he can start with a fair run of games. He's shown us that he's able to start. But Fabrizio reported yesterday that Manchester United informed Fiorentina that they will not trigger the €20 million buy option clause for Fofana and Amrabat. However, they remain interested and are willing to discuss on different conditions. And then Sky Sports were reporting earlier today and that Manchester United and Fiorentina are in talks about a fee for Fofana and Amrabat. So what happened? Let's talk about the history of this Fofana and Amrabat situation, yeah, because of course he came in last year just before transfer. I think it was actually transfer deadline day. He came in 1 year loan. Manchester United were pursuing him throughout the weeks of the transfer window. It wasn't something that just came out of nowhere. Now, what Fiorentina did, because Manchester United's plan was to wait, I think, until this summer and get him on a free. They triggered his 1 year extension and then allowed him to go out on loan. He's now going into his final year of his contract. Fiorentina are not going to offer him a new deal, so they have to sell him this summer. They have to sell him this summer. And that is why the price tag has gone down from last summer. I don't know if you lot remember, but last summer when Manchester United got him on loan, the price tag that was flying around was 30 million euros. That was the price tag flying around, 30 million euros. Now it's gone from 30 million to 20 million because they know that they have to sell him somehow. Now, again, it works for Manchester United because he's already come, he's already been here, he's been here for a year. He knows the environment. He knows the environment, he knows the community, he knows the standards of the club. He knows a lot of the players, he knows the manager. Yeah? He's adapted to life in Manchester. He's adapted to life in Manchester. So there's already things that work in favour of Manchester United. That's it. Now, when you look at the players that Man United are linked to, let me pull up that picture again. Oh, did I lose it? This one here. When we look at the players that Manchester United are linked to, Fofana, Amrabat, combined, their price tag is 45 million. That is the price tag combined. Manchester United could probably get it cheaper. That is 2 players for 45 million. And maybe Manchester United are counting on a player like Ugarte on a loan with an option to buy or obligation to buy, whatever. 45 million, guys, for 2 midfielders is not bad business. I don't think that's bad business. But of course, it depends on outgoings. It depends on if Scott McTominay ends up going to Turkey. It depends on if Casemiro finds a new club to go and join. Because Saudi is looking unlikely for him. It all depends on the outgoings that Manchester United are able to do. Now, if we were to talk about solely what player profile fits into Manchester United right now, because for me, the idea of Fofana, I would see him more as a Kobbie Mainoo replacement. Like if Kobbie, because I see Kobbie as the more advanced midfielder out of the 2 that are sitting. That's how I see Kobbie Mainoo. I don't know if you agree with me. I see Fofana in that as well. I see Amrabat as a Casemiro, someone who sits deeper, similar to Ugarte, etc. If Manchester United are trying to find depth for both midfield positions, I hear it. Fofana is only 15 million according to Sam. How much is Amrabat? Amrabat is 20 million euros, so that's about 16 million pounds. That's about 16 million pounds. United could actually get, and the thing is, like I said, Man United find themselves in a lucky and fortunate position right now. And the reason why I say they're in a lucky and fortunate position right now is because these teams have to sell these players if they want any money. Like if they want anything for these players, they need to sell them. Both of these players are keen on also playing in the Premier League. Now, Sufyan Amrabat has interest from multiple Premier League clubs, but I think his preference is to go to Manchester United. I think there's only 2 teams that were ever really a preference for him, which was Man United and Liverpool. And I think now that he's spent a year at Manchester United, he loves the club. He loves the club. Big up to Suleiman, says congratulations on 5K, sister. Yes, guys, let's take a little water break. Little water break. I hit 5K. I think it was yesterday. I hit 5K yesterday. I didn't do a stream because there weren't really much to talk about, and Sunday is like my day off. But we hit 5K on the channel on the 1-year anniversary of starting my channel. Do you know how mental that is? That's like something that was written. Now, my goal, when I wrote my goals for this year, for the 2024 year, I said my goal was to hit 5K. But now I've changed that. I've changed it because my goal is now to hit 10K by the end of the year. But big up to everyone that subscribed. A lot of new subscribers have found me somehow in the Manchester United world, leaving wonderful comments, etc. on my videos. I appreciate it. Big up to all of you guys for being part of this community. This community is a serious community. It's a positive vibes community. It's a strictly good vibes. That's been the motto since I started the channel. We laugh, we have banter, we have serious discussions here. We talk about nonsense sometimes, but it's a lovely community, an amazing community that we're building here. So big up to every single one of you 5,000 people. Do you know how much 5,000 people are? That's a lot, guys. That is a lot of people. So to have 5,000 subs, it's not like 100K, but I don't care. 5K to me is like 100K. So I appreciate it. Big up to everybody. W's in the chat, like Buggy says. W's in the It's all right, John. I know it was an accident. Big up to Ridwan, says congrats on 5K. Big up. And big up to all the newest members as well. We're building something serious here. Big up to Suleiman. It's been a minute as well, man, my bro. I hope you are doing well, inshallah. But on Amrabat, guys, on Sufyan Amrabat, I know I see little Yo-Yo in the chat who has a Sufyan Amrabat shirt. I can't believe I koalesced him to get a Sufyan Amrabat shirt. Rule number one, guys, rule number one is never fall in love with a lone player. Like, that is first and foremost. And also, can I just say, if I was to go off of the women's team who had a player on loan and signed her on a permanent deal this summer, anything is possible. Anything is possible. And I think it's reasonable business for Manchester United. And this is actually a good segue to the topic that I want to talk about as well. Because I've seen links, right? And I'm not gonna sit here and act like I know anything. I don't want to be a what's it called? I don't want to be them people. I forgot. KG calls them. He calls me it all the time. But it's them people that are just obsessed with football. This is not me. This is not me. Who is Richard Rios, guys? Who is Richard Rios? Yesterday, I was just scrolling Twitter. I saw people going crazy about some guy that plays for Palmeiras called Richard Rios that Manchester United are interested with. I've never heard of him. This was the first time. Big up to Riri with a massive super chat. Listen, Riri, if you're new here, you know Riri is the community queen. She is the community queen. She needs an emoji as well. Riri, send me a picture of you so I can make an emoji for you. With the big super chat says, congratulations, sis. This is an amazing community you are building. This is one of my favorite communities. I'm saying one of my favorite communities, like I'm part of any other communities. This is my favorite community. Big up to Riri, the community queen here on the channel. The gift that's always given. I appreciate the love. I appreciate the support. I appreciate the super chat. And she even gifted memberships over the weekend, guys. And I know some of you lot got it. Big up to Riri. W's in the chat for Riri. I need to make... I'm going to make an emoji for Riri today. So when I go live next time, you lot will see. Should I just do an emoji of Rihanna? Like the actual singer Rihanna? And I could just make this... I can make the emoji just say Riri. But big up. Let me see what you lot are saying. I mean, I'm not going to say that word, but yeah, that's what I'm talking about. KG's he always calls me that. I'm like, leave me alone. He looked good at Copa. I saw him play for Colombia. Now, I saw people, obviously, going crazy about it. I saw people going crazy. I feel like this is the equivalent of other people's Yusuf Fofanas, because every time I see Yusuf Fofana being linked to Manchester United, I start bugging out. I'm like, please, Ineos, can you do something for me? Please, just this one time. I don't know much about this guy. 17 million for a player in South America. Is that a lot? Given the I don't feel like that's a lot of money, but I do feel like that might be a lot of money in the terms of South American football. Now, I know Chelsea spend 50 million, like Chelsea be spending outrageous money on players in South America of recent young talents. But when I read about this guy, he did sound like a prospect. And that does seem like what Man United are going for. In some players, they're going for like full-fledged kind of talents that are developed. And then there's others. Now, it seems like this stream is going to be predominantly about midfielders today. I think it's going to be predominantly about midfielders today, because this guy here, I think is the problem for Manchester United right now. And the reason why I say it's the problem for Manchester United, I don't see him leaving unless he's going somewhere not Saudi. And if Casemiro stays, it might be more difficult for Man United to bring in more midfielders. I mean, on the weekend, he was okay. First 15, 20 minutes, it was a bit shambolic, but he kind of got into the game. And he is, can I say, probably one of the most seasoned professionals for Manchester United, I would say, out of this current team. I would go on to say he's probably the most... He's probably won the most stuff, because Varane's not there anymore. He's probably one of the most seasoned professionals in terms of probably like games played in his career. He's probably played the most number of games in his footballing career. He's on high salary, and United cannot sell him. Why? Because they've notified the Saudi Pro League and the PIF, who owns Al Hilal and all of the four big clubs in the Saudi Pro League. Manchester United have notified them that they do not intend to sell Casemiro. Now, I think it's maybe because he doesn't want to go there. Now, he's had his camp, guys, has been having talks with him, with Saudi, since I think March. Since about March or April, they've been having talks with Saudi. And I think it's kind of evident that he does not want to go. And if Manchester United cannot sell him, the only other sellable asset that they have in the midfield is Scott McTominay. That's it. That's it. Now, of course, I think keeping Casemiro has its, I would say it would have its pros. And you lot are probably thinking, what possible pros could it be keeping Casemiro? I think it's his professionalism. Now, I'm not going to talk about the rumours after the... Do you guys remember the rumours during FA Cup final time? If you lot remember it, then I don't need to talk about it. But if those rumours were true, those reports were true, you don't want that kind of professionalism in your camp. You don't want that. But I think his experience and his willingness and determination to, have this winner's mentality is something that Manchester United could do with, because you look at Man United right now, and yeah, these people won the FA Cup. Some of them won the Carabao Cup, excuse me. Nobody's won league titles except for him and Johnny Evans. Nobody has won Champions Leagues except for him. If I'm not wrong, no one has won Champions League. He brings in a lot of that experience. He brings in a lot of that experience and that fight, that dog, that, that woof woof. That's my favorite. You don't know that's my favorite thing to say here. That woof woof. Oh yeah, Mason Mount. But would you when you say professional, I don't like, when you say experience, I don't think of Mason Mount. For some reason in my head, I treat Mason Mount like he's still young, but he's not. He is young, but he's not young in terms of what he's achieved thus far in his career. Casemiro is probably Manchester United's most decorated player. Of course, it's not stuff that he's won with Manchester United, but he is Manchester United's most decorated player in terms of what he's won. I don't see, for some reason, Manchester United selling him. I think Manchester United will sell, if they can, Scott McTominay. I need to put my phone on silent because why is my family group chat booming off? But I do see that happening. Mount ain't nowhere near Casa with the winnings. He's not going anywhere. I hear it. I think Casemiro's mind is still sharp, but his body is starting to slow down. It's like Joe Biden all over again, guys. I can't do a stream without talking about Joe Biden. But this is like Joe Biden. But Joe Biden is the other way around. His mind is not sharp, but his body still thinks it can do stuff. It's like Joe Biden. I might have to call him Joe Biden for the rest of the season. Yeah, we got Biden in midfield. Oh, who's starting in midfield? Oh, yeah, Maino and Biden are starting in midfield. Oh, yeah, who got sent off? Biden got sent off. Yeah. Who's captain today? Biden is. Yeah, it's Biden. It's Biden. Biden Miro. I might have to call him Biden Miro. Because I don't think he's that bad, by the way, in comparison, by the way, to, other players who are older, that is clear in football that their body is giving up on them. I don't think Casemiro is that. I'm not going to say he's that bad. I don't think he's that bad. But the reason why I'm saying that, and I agree with the fact that by Miro, that sounds like a burrito. Oh yeah, what burrito do you want? Yeah, can I get the by Miro? That literally sounds like a burrito. Casa Biden. Casa Biden sounds like an area in America. Oh yeah, what ends you? What area are you in? Yeah, I'm driving through Casa Biden right now. Yeah, I'll be there soon. Casa Biden sounds like an area. Minna, I find you being ageist, sis. I'm the furthest thing from an ageist, guys. I'm the furthest thing from an ageist. I don't know why, but the other day I had a nightmare about Biden. I ended up down a wormhole. This is before he announced that he was pulling out of the race, the America race. But I had a nightmare about Joe Biden. Like, I don't know what it is. Basically, guys, I have a weird behavior where when I'm interested in something, I will end up going down wormholes reading about stuff. So I went down a wormhole reading about Joe Biden and his life and all of this kind of stuff. Anyway, and then I had a nightmare, bro. Joe Biden was chasing me through the streets of London. He was literally, and he was so fast. Maybe it was Casa Biden that was chasing me, and it wasn't actually Biden. Who dreams of Biden? It wasn't a dream of Biden. I have bare random dreams. It was just one little segment of my dream. How did my comment turn to Casa Biden comparison? We do some random stuff here. on the channel. Listen, let's get back to the topic. Z says, I'm sorry, I have an agenda against Casemiro. I don't think he's good enough anymore, regardless of experience. Z also said that this this topic of Casemiro having experience is not buying it. He or she, sorry, Z. Z is a very, it could be anyone. I know a girl called Z, I know a guy called Z, but Z said that they are not buying the topic of experience for Casemiro. I was about to say Casa Biden. Okay, big up to Z. Did he have a mobility scooter? Biden had 99 pace. Hey, Biden was looking like this, bro. Biden had these stats. Biden was chasing me through the streets, yeah, and he had these stats. He had these stats. It was serious. It was serious. We actually should have had him in midfield in that case. We actually should have had him in midfield. Experience doesn't make you do the things Casa Biden. We actually can't, guys. We can't do this. We can't call him Casa Biden. I'm saying we. I'm talking to myself. We can't do this. Let's start from scratch. But anyways, on the topic of Casemiro, I don't see him leaving. I don't see him leaving. I think Manchester United's mid. Would you be mad, guys, if Man United don't sign a midfielder? Because Toby Collier is set to be promoted to the first team. Casemiro stays. Scott McTominay stays. Christian Eriksen is obviously there. Would you guys be mad if Man United do not end up signing a midfielder? Because with all of this chasing after people such as Ugarte, now Fofana, for me, Man United have to. Oh, Florian Plettenberg tweet. Don't bait me, guys. Don't bait me. Please don't bait me. Because if you bait me. Ooh. And now this is a move I could get behind. Let's get straight into it. Shout out to Eric for telling me that Plettenberg tweeted. Manchester United and West Ham are exploring a deal to sign Nozer Mazraoui, another former Ajax player, another player part of that 2019 Champions League team. First concrete talks took place. Mazraoui is top of the list for both clubs and he's keen to play in the Premier League. Now, it's funny because, guys, I referenced Mazraoui earlier in the stream. 26-year-old right-back is leaving Bayern Munich. Originally, they demanded 30 million. However, the market does not support this amount. Now, Bayern Munich are pushing to get 20 to 25, but 15 to 20 million is reasonable. He's got a contract valid until 2026. And guys, can I say, he is a right back, but he plays left back for Morocco. He plays left back for Morocco. He can play on both sides. He plays left back and right back, can I say, for Bayern Munich. He's played on both sides. I would have liked Mazraoui, and it's so funny. I should go back and drag up a tweet from a couple of years ago because I said Man United should buy Mazraoui a couple years back after 2019. Now, of course, I'm not too sure about it. Would he be a good backup option? I think so. Minna, have you seen him play? Yeah, I saw it. I literally saw him. I went to the Emirates to watch Bayern Munich versus Arsenal. Shout out to PlayStation. Shout out to my PlayStation family. But I've seen him play live and I've seen him play for Morocco multiple times. I've seen him play at Ajax. Obviously, I've seen him play at Bayern Munich. At Bayern Munich, I think he's had a bit of a up and down relationship, especially in recent months with posting about things about like Palestine. I think actually that might be one of the reasons Bayern Munich are selling him. But like I mentioned, he is on the selling list, similar to Kimmich, similar to the Ligt. Now, if Manchester United can do Bayern Munich a favor by doing a 2-in-1 deal, yeah? This is just me being hypothetical. How much do you think is reasonable for Manchester United to pay for him? We need a left back and a right back ASAP, but he can play left back and right back. I don't think he's a bad signing. For that price, I don't think Nasir Mazraoui is a bad player. I think he's good. I think at Ajax, I think he was very solid for Erik ten Hag. For Morocco, the only reason why he doesn't play right back is because Achraf Hakimi is the right back. He's the left back. Now, my only problem with him, guys, and I really, wallahi, I don't want to be that person, is his injury record. His injury record for me is a bit of a one. And the reason why I'm saying it's a bit of an one is that he doesn't miss, I would say, a lot of games, but he misses enough to be concerned about. Last season, he missed nearly 20 games throughout the entire season. Multiple different types of injury. One was a fitness problem. One was a torn muscle fiber. One was another torn muscle as well. Before that, he missed the season before that. He missed about 13 games. And then there was one season that he missed like over 30 games. He missed over 30 games. Now, 26 years old. If United, I would say, can get 30 to 40 games out of him, I think that's reasonable. By the way, I don't expect him to be the starting fullback. I think Diogo Dallo owns the right-hand side. Can we agree that that belongs to Diogo Dallo? I think it does. And then on top of that, the left-hand side, with Luke Shaw making his slow kind of return back into football, this Ten Hag man wants his former players. Come on, can we just say that it's a coincidence? Can we say it's a coincidence that Nasir Mazraoui is a... Because I could turn around and say, well, Manchester United might just be poaching rivals' targets. West Ham want Wan-Bissaka. They're now sniffing around Mazraoui. If Man United buy Mazraoui, West Ham have to buy Wan-Bissaka. Maybe Man United are playing chess, not checkers. Maybe they're playing chess, not checkers. Because if... Again, let me repeat that again. If West Ham were interested in Wan-Bissaka, and now they're looking at Mazraoui, maybe Man United are right, you know what, let's buy Mazraoui, and then they have to buy Wan-Bissaka. And by the way, this is not the only right back that Manchester United have been linked to. And also, can I just say, this guy is not a right back for me. Jeremy Frimpong is not a right back. But Manchester United are reportedly, obviously, listening to offers for Wan-Bissaka. As a result, they're looking at other players. Similar to the centre-back position, Manchester United are looking at suitable fullbacks to replace Wan-Bissaka and for depth. Two players that they looked at, Van der Sar and Jeremy Frimpong. Frimpong, for me, guys, I think he's a good player. I'm not going to lie. I think he's a good player, but I don't think he's a fullback. We can't go, can I just say, from having a fullback that cannot attack to having a fullback that only knows how to attack. That doesn't, for me, that don't make sense. That doesn't make sense. And can I just say, Bayer Leverkusen are going to ask for an F-off price for Frimpong. I think they're going to ask for at least 40, 50, 60 million. I think so. I think they don't count on selling Wirtz this summer, so it's reasonable for them to sell other players. That might be reasonable for them to sell other players. Ping Pong is a right winger. You not calling him Ping Pong? Is a right winger, right? Well, it's weird because he plays essentially right wing for Bayer Leverkusen, but he's actually listed on their formations as a full wing back. And can I just say also, he doesn't even start at wing back for the Netherlands. I think Dumfries starts there. I'm just loving the fact we're being aggressive in the market like we used to be in the 90s. I think it's just nice. For once. Frimpong is the opposite of Wan-Bissaka, 100%. Now, if you said to me that United are targeting Frimpong as a right-back alternative, then yeah, I hear it. As a right-wing alternative, I hear it. But as a right-back, I'm not too sure about that. Let's get to this topic. It's taken us 50 minutes to get to probably the main topic of discussion for today, because we've talked about defenders, we talked about midfielders, and we've talked about fullbacks. So now let's talk about the shocking news. I'm not going to lie, guys. I was a bit shocked about this. Reported by Santi Ouna, PSG are close to reaching an agreement on personal terms with Jadon Sancho, by the way. This was straight news early this morning, 8 a.m. UK time. Didn't even wait for people to drink their coffee. I don't know how legit this can be. Now, the reason why I say that, and maybe it's the reason that Manchester United and him and Erik Ten Hag solved their issues. Now, PSG, can I say, are also set to sign Victor Osimhen and João Neves. Now, João Neves, I think, is 70. I think they're paying Victor Osimhen's release clause. So that's nearly 200 million that they're spending on two players. On the left-hand side, who do they have there? Barcola, right? Barcola is the guy on the left-hand side for them right now. Right-hand side, I think it's safe to say that belongs to Ousmane Dembele. I think it's safe to say that the right-hand side belongs to Ousmane Dembele at PSG. Now, I'm not here to dissect whether Jadon Sancho starts or not for PSG, and I'm not here to dissect whether he should start. Do you think this is a good move? And if so, what do you think the price should be? Do you think it should be a straight swap for him and Ugarte? Because I can't lie, maybe Manchester United want some money. They might want some cash for this. They might want some cash for this deal. If he manages to agree personal terms, which has been probably the biggest hurdle to selling players at Manchester United, right? Players who are on big contracts, Manchester United have struggled to sell them because of those contracts. If Manchester United, if he's able to agree personal terms, do you think Manchester United are going to look at it and be like, you know what? Personal terms would have been the biggest hurdle for us, but since he's already agreed it and we will not be out of pocket in any form, maybe this is a move that we can actually look at. Now, Manuel Ugarte, they're pricing him at 50 million. For a guy who hasn't had a breakout season for PSG, for a guy who struggled at PSG since joining them, struggled to fit into Luis Enrique's system, struggled in the French league. I don't think Ugarte is a bad player. I just think that move was not for him. But United shouldn't be looking at a straight swap deal. And the reason why I'm saying that is because I think Jadon Sancho's price is probably more higher than what Ugarte should be. Now, of course, like I said, PSG are looking at 50 million. But that to me doesn't mean that's what he's worth. That's just PSG trying to recoup some of the money that they've spent. Let me see what you lot are actually saying. Swap him with Ugarte plus money if we can fleece PSG. There you go. Splashkip is on the same wave that I am. I'm saying 20, 30 million plus Sancho and give us Ugarte. I mean, and what I mean, by the way, is they give us 20, 30 million and Ugarte, and we give them Jadon Sancho. I think the most important thing for Manchester United, they might look at this and they might actually look at it and think a swap deal is actually reasonable because although we're not making money, we're going to save money because of his contract. Can I just say also, his contract, people say he's on 350 a week. He's not. A lot of it is bonus related and a lot of it is bonus targets that he's never reached at Manchester United. So Jadon Sancho, of course he got paid, he's been paid a lot, 200, 250 base salary, but he's never really hit the full-fledged salary that he was entitled to because those bonus targets was never reached. So when we say he's on 350 a week, he's not. He's not on 350 a week. That is including bonuses, but those are targets that he's never hit in his 3 years of being at Manchester United. Now, with this, I think this is another thing that Manchester United could look at and think, you know what, he might not have to stay. They might look at this. Let me pull it up right here. They might look at this guy here and say, you know what, we might not need Jadon Sancho. And the reason why I'm saying that is because you look at Amad Diallo, and I told you lot this weeks ago that Amad Diallo was going to sit down and have new contract talks with Manchester United. Fabrizio confirmed it yesterday. He's entering his last year of his agreement, of his deal, but he's got a 1-year option. Now, Manchester United are committed to him, and he's an important part of the team. They might look at him and be like, you know what? Amad Diallo is our guy. That's the guy that we're going to put our stocks in. The whole time, it was a young player that was sitting here already in the team. Now, you look at the different type of wingers United have right now. They got Sancho, they've got Anthony, they've got Amad, they've got Garnacho, they've got Marcus Rashford. All these players are more different. Now, I would say the more technical wingers are Amad, Sancho. The kind of direct ones, Rashford, Garnacho, etc. Each player is kind of different in their attributes and they offer something different. If you guys had to pick, and I hate to be that person to make you lot pick, Amad or Sancho, who are you picking? Who are you picking for Manchester United to keep? And who are you picking for Manchester United to get rid of? Let me see what you lot are saying in the chat. PSG will never do a swap deal with Ugarte for Sancho and still give you 20 mil. It won't happen. Anything is possible, my brother. Anything is possible, brother. All of you lot are saying Amad, yeah. Amad 100% keep. Ridwan says keep. Z said Amad easy. Amad is a complete winger, in my opinion. He can be direct too if needed. That's true. That's true. He can be direct. He can link up. He can take on a player. He can cut in. He can put a ball in. He can find a man. He can do a lot of stuff. He can do a lot of stuff. Everyone said, not one person in the chat has said Ahmad. The funny thing is, had we had this conversation when Sancho was a Dortmund player, I think the answers would have been mixed. Because obviously we saw what he did at Dortmund before Manchester United brought him. And I always say this. I always say with Jadon Sancho, I think the biggest downfall for Jadon Sancho joining Manchester United is Cristiano Ronaldo joining. And that's not me saying that Cristiano Ronaldo is a horrible player. I'm saying that I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and he spoke about this on the overlap, that the plans changed once United signed Cristiano Ronaldo. That was the same summer that Manchester United signed Jadon Sancho. It's the same summer they also signed Rafa Varane. I think Jadon Sancho, had he joined the summer before, if United had competent people in place, Man United were meant to get him the summer before. They couldn't negotiate with Dortmund. Dortmund stood on business and said, we're not selling him unless you pay the price that we're asking. United come back. They try to negotiate the entire summer. They get nowhere. They come back 12 months later, and then they pay the exact price that Dortmund were asking for the year before that. Had Jadon Sancho joined the year that he was meant to join, I think his time at United might have been different, because those 12 months that United were chasing him for, he might have been at the team and integrated, and then it would have maybe changed the trajectory of his time at Man United. And that's not me making excuses for him. It's me trying to understand, the situation that he found himself in. That Uruguayan lad is going to end up at Mykonos. I saw someone referencing, here you go, we are all forgetting our Uruguayan at right winger. I don't think he's a part of Manchester United's future. Like, all due respect, guys, Facundo Pellistri, I think will be sold. I think he'll be sold. I think he's similar to the situations with Alvaro Fernandes. I think it's similar to the situations that we've seen, people being moved on ever so quickly when it's clear as day that, they're not in the manager's future. And you look at that order of right wingers, guys. We look at Garnacho, we look at Ahmad, we look at Sancho, we look at Anthony and Pellistri. I think Pellistri is going to be the one that's sold. I really do think. It's very unfortunate. I don't see Anthony going anywhere anytime soon. And I look at those midfield options, and for me, those right wing options, for me, Ahmad is the best out of all of them. And I've been saying this for years. I sound like a broken record at this point, but I've been tooting his horn. But I've been talking about Amad Diallo for the last 2 or 3 years, just hoping that he would get a fair shot at Manchester United. And now I'm really glad that a lot of people have seen it. I'm glad that he's starting to get those opportunities. And then one thing I actually rate him for is that he just kept it professional. He kept his head down and he patiently waited for the opportunity last season. He was back in the team in December, January. He didn't get a fair chance until March. He didn't get a start until May. I'm happy for him, but also he deserves more. He deserves to be that star on the right-hand side. Like, for me, he fully deserves it. Someone's talking about PSG and Bruno Fernandes. I saw, here it is. Let's pull it up live on the screen right now. From Fabrizio Romano, Paris Saint-Germain is not, I repeat, is not working on a Bruno Fernandes deal. Their full focus is João Neves. If Bruno Fernandes stays at Manchester United this summer, new contract talks could be the following step. So essentially, what Fabrizio is trying to allude at is if Manchester United don't move Bruno Fernandes on, he's getting a new deal at Manchester United. And I'm pretty sure he did not get I swear he got a new deal a couple of years ago, guys. If I'm not wrong, he got a new deal a couple of years ago. Now, of course, he's 29, turning 30, coming up to the latter stages of his career. If he's all in for Manchester United, guys, do you think he deserves a new contract? If he's fully committed to the project, fully committed to not going anywhere. I mean, now PSG has written off Bruno Fernandes. Man United have notified the Saudi League that they're not selling him. Where else will he go? If he's all in, and by the way, it was the reports that we were hearing towards the latter stages of the season was that he was talking to Ineos about what the future plans were, to understand where the mindset of the club is. His future, I think, is at Manchester United. I don't see Bruno going anywhere. And the only way, and I actually had an epiphany, if you want to say that, I had an epiphany that Man United signed Dani Olmo. I don't know where it came. I was daydreaming today whilst I was driving, and then I was thinking about the stream and what we're going to talk about. Bruno Fernandes was one of the topics in my head, and I was thinking United might sign Dani Olmo this summer. But if they sign Dani Olmo, what does that mean for Bruno? Now, Dani Olmo, of course, got a release clause. There are multiple clubs in for him, but realistically, if Bruno Fernandes stays, Manchester United are not signing Dani Olmo. They're not signing Jamal Musiala. They're not signing any 10. They're not signing Xavi Simons. They're not signing anyone because Bruno Fernandes is going to be that player there. He's going to be that player there. Let me see what you lot are saying about Bruno. Gattuso says we can sell any player, even Bruno. No one is unsellable. Listen, at Manchester United, it's clear as day. Yeah, I've seen Ruud van Nistelrooy get sold. I've seen David Beckham get sold. I've seen Cristiano Ronaldo get sold. I've seen Carlos Tevez get sold to our flipping rivals. I've seen players who I thought would never leave Man United get sold. Anybody can get it. Anybody can get it. You are not unsellable. Everybody has a price in football, just generally speaking. Splashkip says if we renew him, it would be his last contract with us unless he transcends Father Time. Listen, he's probably got, I would say, 3 years of like really high level football. I think he's 29 turning 30, guys. We can get 2 years plus 1 out of him. But within those 2 years, United has to start looking for that one player to kind of replace him. Let me see what you lot are saying. Harry Harron says no. I think that was in reference to my question of selling Bruno. True Legion says give him 1 year. Ski says Dani Olmo cannot replace Bruno. Ridwan said I'd sell him and sign Eze. Ski also says Olmo is a tournament player. John James says with the kind of players like Xerxes and Meno, Bruno will thrive this season. Listen, I think Bruno will thrive if he's got, I think, Xerxes in front of him, Ahmad to the right, Rashford to the left. That is 3 different forms or profiles of players. You got Rashford who can run in behind. You got Ahmad, one touch ball. You've got Xerxes link up. You've got 3 different players next to you, different profiles that can bring out the different attributes in Bruno Fernandes. And I actually agree with John here. I actually agree. I think if Bruno can tone it down a little bit, and when I say tone it down a little bit, I'll say the excessive passes that he makes sometimes that doesn't need to be done. And you don't know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about those random balls, those random passes that don't need to be played. If he can reel that in a little bit, I think he can thrive. And I've spoken about this time and time again. From outside of the football stuff, Bruno Fernandes is one of the most respected players at Manchester United. He is very respected, not just by the players, not just by the coaching staff, but the entire Manchester United environment. He wanted to pay for staff's tickets and travel and accommodation to the FA Cup. And the club turned it down because it was going to embarrass the club. It was going to make the club look bad. Bruno Fernandes, whenever I speak to people that work at Manchester United, I know a few people that work in the academy. Whenever I read articles, read reports, Bruno Fernandes is highly respected. And I think that is very important when you speak about creating the correct and the right environment. Dan Ashworth spoke about it. Umar Barada spoke about it. Sir Jim Ratcliffe spoke about creating a thriving environment. You need players like Bruno Fernandes or people. Let me not even say players, because we have to differentiate people who are, when we talk about them as footballers, and we need to differentiate them when we talk about them as a person. Bruno Fernandes is highly adored and respected as a person, and as a result, people like him as a player. It's as simple as that. There is nobody in football right now, I would say in the Premier League, that gets under rivals' skins more than Bruno Fernandes. They hate him on the pitch because he complains so much. Referees are annoyed by him, but you need that. I would rather have a captain, guys, that irritates the referee than a captain that doesn't speak. I would much rather that. Honestly, as a player, I think you'd much rather that, because I think they're set to introduce the whole only captains can speak to the ref, etc. in European football. I would much rather that. Bruno is a don. Facts. I agree. Sometimes Bruno, for me, like, I find him so frustrated. Sometimes. But I do respect him for various different reasons. Bruno Crackhead special. Sahil says, what's your front three, Mina? Mine is Rashford, Ahmad, Xerxes. Go on then, guys. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about Manchester United's front three. Let's talk about Man United's front three. Because I think it depends on the game. I think it depends on the game. I think it can vary. I think it varies depending on the game. I think Joshua Xerxes for me is going to be the starter. I think he will be the starter. I think Ahmad for me, right side. It's just the left side. Sometimes I'm just like, I love Marcus Rashford. You lot know here on the channel, I love Marcus Rashford. You lot always accuse me of defending him because he's English. I don't know what the hell the correlation is. You lot always accuse me of defending. I like Rashford, but he cannot have the season that he had last year. Like, for me, that cannot run. It has to be a better season. And I am backing Marcus Rashford wholeheartedly to have a better season. Same way, if Manchester United keep this guy here, I'm backing him to have a good season. I really hope he flourishes. But I don't think he's going to be the starter if he stays. I think there will be games where he might be rotated, but I don't think Jadon Sancho will be the starter game in, game out. I would say my starting three would be Xerxes, Ahmad, Rashford. Yeah, it would be that. I would like to see Jadon Sancho sometimes on the left-hand side, but I don't think it will be all the time. I think for games where, you know, teams are playing a high line, you need someone running in behind, I think it's going to be Marcus Rashford. For games where United might need that, and I actually think Marcus Rashford will flourish playing with Joshua Xerxes, because Marcus Rashford's best seasons come when he's getting opportunities to run in behind, or he gets opportunities to link up, right? But when you need him 1v1 someone, he's glitching. He's glitching, like he's lagging, or whatever you want to call it. I think if you got Bruno there, if you got Xerxes and you've got Ahmad, I think that's a front. Let's talk about the front four, yeah, including Bruno. Technically, they are good players. Some of them better than others. Pace, they've got strength, they've got agility, they've got passing. All they have to do is have communication, and that could be a front four that is scoring goals. That could be a front four that's creating chances. That can be a front four, guys, or front three, I would say, that is interchangeable throughout the game. There might be moments in the game we could see Ahmad go false nine. Why? Because if Ahmad goes false nine, that allows people like Bruno, Rashford, etc. to link up and get him make run-ins behind, right? Ahmad has played false nine, can I say, for Manchester United, and Ahmad has played false nine when he was at Sunderland. Ahmad has played 10 in the 10 role when he was at Sunderland. He's even played midfield. He's actually played in central midfield when he was at Sunderland. Joshua Xerxes, I'm very interested to see how, I'm not going to lie, Rasmus Hojlund for me is a good player. He's a good player, but I also think it depends on the game. I really think it depends on the game. It depends on the opponent, on who starts up front. Depending on the game, I'm going left wing Rashford, striker Xerxes, right wing Ahmad, or left wing Sancho, striker Hojlund, right wing Garnacho. That's an interesting one because I think Sancho would do better with a Xerxes. I think Sancho, on the right-hand side, on the left-hand side, is better to have Xerxes up front. And maybe it depends on how Manchester United use Hojlund next season, because next season, I think we can't afford to see Rasmus Hojlund fighting centre-backs non-stop. Clearly, that's not his strong suit. I think his strong suit is he's shown us his ability to come and collect the ball. And Hojlund has shown us his ability to dribble with the ball. Back to goal, Hojlund ain't working like that. unless he's working on that with Ruud van Nistelrooy. I actually think we might see more, passes through midfielders over the top, etc. to Hojlund, runs in behind. I think we might see more of that when he's working with Ruud van Nistelrooy. And I think Ruud van Nistelrooy, if you lot know, he's one of the greatest strikers of the 2000 era in the Premier League. Like, that's no secret. That's no secret. And I think these players, especially Rasmus Hojlund, working under Ruud van Nistelrooy, will be a great option. I think he will be a great... If he really benefits from Ruud van Nistelrooy, we will see a new Rasmus Hojlund. We will see a changed Rasmus Hojlund. We will see some strengths of his that was not really at the forefront last year. I feel like last year we didn't really work to his strengths. We already know what his weaknesses are. Back to goal, aerial duels. It might not necessarily work. But if he's really working on his strength, which it looks like he has been, and even the goal that United scored against Rangers, right? Hugo. That is textbook striker goal. A pass in, first time finish. That is a textbook Ruud van Nistelrooy finish. And I'm not saying all the credit goes to Ruud van Nistelrooy, because credit goes to the player too. But you can tell that Ruud van Nistelrooy is already working with the strikers. Who the hell is outside beeping their car for no reason? Like, come on, guys. Actually, I do that all the time, so I actually shouldn't criticize. Hugo finish was similar to Ruud playstyle and finish. Yeah, 100%. I agree. What about this? Rashford left wing, Hojlund striker, Bruno right wing, Xerxes 10. I'm not gonna lie, guys, and I mean this with all respect. Yeah, I don't want to see Bruno at right wing. I do not want to see Bruno Fernandes playing as a right winger. And that is, like I said, no disrespect to Bruno Fernandes. I rate Bruno highly, but he's not a right winger. If you want to play someone on the right wing with technical ability, with passing, with vision, play Ahmad. There's no need to play. I would even go as far to say play Mason Mount there. Bruno is at his best in the 10, and I also think Bruno is good in that deeper role where United, maybe teams are playing with, and that's why I said it all depends on who Man United are facing. Because if a team are playing a high line, put Bruno a bit deeper, balls over the top. Xerxes running in behind, Ahmad running in behind. I've seen Ahmad do it. Garnacho running in behind, Marcus Rashford running in behind. Bruno will flourish in that, what's it called? Quarterback role. The quarterback role, if you want to call it that. But please, no, guys, no right wing. No right wing. Okay, swap Bruno for Ahmad on the right wing and put Bruno in the 8. Yeah, that's what I was just saying. Bruno in the 8 could be that. Could be that. I think a lot of what Manchester United do with the front line next year, I genuinely believe it all depends. The most important thing is who Manchester United put next to Kobbie Mainoo, because I know Man United might explore the option of maybe playing Kobbie a bit more advanced. No, I'm not saying as a 10, but a more like advanced as an 8. I don't think Kobbie's going to be that 6. You saw how he played, for England with Declan Rice. He was playing a bit more advanced. He was dropping back to pick up the ball and support during pressing moments, but he was playing a bit more advanced than Declan Rice was that sole kind of midfielder. And that's why I said the biggest thing for Manchester United this summer is who they sign in the midfield. Because that will unlock opportunities, I think, for everybody else in that front line. I think if United sign Fofana and Amrabat as the starting midfielder, that would be very interesting. If United sign, let me put it like this: if United sign Fofana and Amrabat for 20 million, Casemiro is starting next to Kobbie Mainoo, and Fofana and Amrabat is the rotational player. If United sign Yusuf Fofana and they manage to nick the deal from AC Milan, United are going to play 2 in midfield with Kobbie and Fofana. It's going to be 2 in midfield and then Bruno in the 10. If United, however, sign Manuel Ugarte, then I think Manuel Ugarte will be the sole midfielder. Kobbie will be a bit more forward. Bruno will be in the 10. Now, I actually want to know, and like I said, that's why I said it really depends on who Manchester United sign in midfield. Do you guys think Manchester United might explore the option of playing 2 8s? Could we see 2 8s and a 6? Could we see Bruno and Kobe next to each other, just in front of the midfielder? And that essentially means that they will have defensive duty more so as they have attacking duty. Manuel Ugarte, for me, I think is Manchester United's preference. I truly think that is their preference. I think the only way United do not sign Manuel Ugarte is if they get priced out. Oh shit! I forgot that I have the full view today. Is it happening? Yeah, it is. Shit. I forgot I got the full view in 20 minutes. This stream has run over time, guys. My bad. We'll keep running it until the full view. And then I'll redirect you lot to the full view as well. But as I was saying, I think the only way that Manchester United do not end up signing Manuel Ugarte is if they actually truly get priced out of a move. That's the only way that I see it. Zubimendi would be class with Kobe. I know we spoke about Zubimendi a couple of days ago. I would love for me, we spoke about this, and maybe actually I should do a poll in the chat. Let me actually bring up Zubimendi on the screen right now. Zubimendi for me is a good midfielder, right? And I would love him at Manchester United, but I also think that Manchester United need a dog midfielder. I know you lot are thinking, what the flip do you mean? I know you lot, whenever I say Man United need a woof midfielder in midfield. They need someone that's got like Ugarte for me is that grit, that South American. You know what do you guys understand what I'm saying? And I really hope I might not be getting my point across properly. Zubimendi for me would be the best option out of all the midfielders Manchester United are linked to. Ugarte, Fofana, Amrabat, etc. Zubimendi for me would be the best one out of all of them. However, what Manchester United need in the midfield right now is a deep playing midfielder that is not necessarily got to be that Dennis Rodman midfielder. Facts. United need that Dennis Rodman midfielder. They need someone that just does the dirty work for the midfield and is happy to do that. Their body allows them to do that. The physicality of them allows them to do that. They need someone that is, of course, can read the game well enough. That's what they need. They need someone that can read the game in the midfield well enough. They don't necessarily need someone that plays amazing passes. They don't necessarily need someone that plays line-breaking passes. They've got Lisandro Martinez. That can do that from deep. What they need is someone that just sits there like this, guarding the backline. That's all. That's what they need. They need someone that's happy to do the dirty work, that can slide in, that can be challenging, that can be physical. That's why I think United are all in for Ugarte. And that's why I said if United go to Monaco to sign a midfielder, I don't think it should be Fofana. I like Fofana. Like I said, he's great depth. But for me, if you're going there to sign a midfielder, you should walk away with Mohamed Kamara because he's more for me, fits that kind of bracket. And I know you lot are thinking Amina's naming another Monaco midfielder, but he's a good player, guys. If you guys, maybe I'll do a video about him because I've been ranting and raving about him for ages. I remember I went to watch him against PSG, right? I went to watch him against PSG and he made Verratti and all their man there in the midfield look meaty. He won player of the match, I think, in that game. I think it was a draw between Monaco and PSG, and he was the man of the match. And it was his first official year, I think, in Monaco. No, it wasn't his first year. Oh, yeah, it was his first year because they brought him from Salzburg when they sold Tchouaméni. But he was phenomenal for me, phenomenal player. And I think that's who United should go and get. I like the idea of Fofana. On paper, it sounds nice. Price tag is reasonable. You mean someone who picks up yellow card every game? Now, I don't mean someone that picks up yellow every game. What I mean is someone that dare I say it, like a Declan Rice. Dare I say it? It's not even like a Declan Rice, actually. I wouldn't even go far to say it as a Declan Rice. Like, for me, I would have loved Declan Rice at United. I would have liked Ibrahim Sangare before he went to Forest. I don't know why Ibrahim Sangare went to Forest. And for me, the biggest thing that United did was swoop in for Amadou Onana a bit late. They swooped in a bit late for Amadou Onana. By then, he had given his okay to Aston Villa. They were happy to pay the price tag, and that's why I think that they are. I think that they will be happy to pay the price tag for Ugarte. I just think it's a matter of how they pay it, in like the terms in which they pay it. A young cast during the Modric Cruz cast trio, that would have been a great one. That would have been a great one. But even on the topic of midfielders, Manchester United are set to promote Toby Collier into the first team this season after catching the eye of the manager, Erik ten Hag. Now, I did a video about this and I spoke about it. Some of you guys agreed with me, some of you lot didn't. Some of you lot appreciated the video. If you haven't watched it, go watch it. It's there on my channel about why Toby Collier will be a good option of rotation in the midfield. Now, I think the only concern people have of him, he can read the game well, he can do all of that. It just might be whether he can keep up with the pace of the game, and that's anybody that's coming from academy to first team. Like, not everybody has been lucky. Like, I wouldn't even say lucky, because I think Kobbie Mainoo is a one in a million kind of talent coming from Carrington right now, where he's been able to slot in perfectly into first team football and the pace of football. I think Toby Collier, if United only sign one midfielder, he will get some chance in the midfield. I liked his performance against Rangers. I would like him to get like more fair chances in the midfield. Whether it happens or not, it's not guaranteed. I always said, with the trajectory of Casemiro's time at Manchester United, and then, Scott McTominay's unlikeliness or likeliness to leave, we don't know what's going to happen. But it's good that he's actually going to get a chance in the first team and will get an opportunity of, playing football, because I think he's a good player. I think Toby Collier is a good player. I want João Neves, but Zubimendi is the best option if we don't sign Neves. Neves ain't coming to United, my bro. Neves is not coming to United. He's going to PSG, and that's the thing. The ball is in United's court, I think, with Manuel Ugarte. And you lot are probably thinking, how? João Neves and PSG have already agreed terms. Benfica and PSG have agreed, I think, the 70 million. They have to sell Manuel Ugarte. They have to sell him. And they are clearly counting on Manchester United to come in and buy him. Now, it could be one of them situations. I scratch your back, you scratch my back. You take Jadon Sancho off my books. We'll take Manuel Ugarte off your books. We don't know what that outcome could be, but it's very clear that Manchester United want Manuel Ugarte. Because why? Manuel Ugarte and Manchester United have agreed personal terms. It is clear that Manchester United are agreeing personal terms with players that they want. Ligt, Joshua Zirkzee. Yoro, I think, was the only one that they agreed terms with the team first before they've agreed personal terms with the player. And that's because of the situation with Lenny Yoro and Lille and Real Madrid, etc. Manchester United agreed. You don't agree personal terms with a player that you don't really want. You don't do that. They agreed personal terms with Jared Brantwaite. They want to make sure that the player wants to come to the team and it's of interest to Manchester United to sign that player. And that's why I see Manuel Ugarte being that. They want someone, if you want a direct replacement for Casemiro, despite the fact it's only been 2 years of having Casemiro, but if you want a direct replacement for Casemiro, out of all the midfielders that United have been linked to, Zubimendi, Fofana, Manuel Ugarte, who do you think is the one that is that direct replacement? Because I think it's Manuel Ugarte, if you want that direct like-for-like replacement. Because Kobbie Mainoo is not a 6. United have identified he's not a 6. Fans can see it. He knows it. Everyone knows it. He's not a 6, right? So they need someone to replace directly Casemiro. And it's ridiculous that United have to buy a player to replace a player that you only brought 2 seasons ago. It's ridiculous. But again, that's the shortcomings of the previous regime. I'm not going to judge Ineos on that, and I'm not going to criticize Ineos for that. Xerxes agreed with Milan, but what happened? What happened was that Milan didn't agree with his agent. That's it. They didn't want to pay the agent commissions. And I also think that's why Man United are going in for Fofana, because they don't want to, AC Milan don't want to pay 25 million. They don't want to pay that. 15 million is what they want to pay, more so likely. So United are sniffing around that deal as well. By profile, it's Ugarte. I agree. I think by profile, Manuel Ugarte fits what United want in that midfield. And that's why I think they're pushing a lot to sign it. Do you think we get another here we go for either Ligt, for either Ugarte, for maybe even Mazraoui, now that United are linked to Mazraoui? Do you think United sign another player this week? Because what has it been since the Euros ended? We signed Xerxes. Week later, we signed Euro. A week later, who are we going to sign? Like, we've become so spoiled to expect a signing every week. We've become so spoiled to expect a signing every single week. But I really do think this week United will have another here we go for someone. It could be for Ligt. It could be for Ugarte. It could be for Nasir Mazraoui. It could be for Fofana. It could be for all these players that United are linked to. Now, out of all of them, the ones that United have already agreed terms with, we know it's Ugarte. It's Ligt. So I think it might be the two of them, especially with the Ligt offer being rejected today from Bayern Munich. Great call on Kamara. Him or Fofana will be perfect physical players. I agree. Big up, big up. Profile Ugarte, preference Zubimendi. I think a lot of people's preference is Zubimendi. Can you do a quick comparison between Ugarte, Zubimendi, and Florentino Luis? I'm not gonna lie, my brother, I've never heard of Florentino Luis. This is actually my first time hearing about it, or maybe my second time hearing about it. He plays for Benfica. Is he at Benfica? Yes, that looks like a Benfica kit. Do you not know anything about Florentino Luis? Because this is really news to me. Another player that's been linked to Liverpool. He's been linked to Spurs as well. Let's see. Let's find some information about Florentino Luis. Let's find some analysis about him. Maybe I'll do a video, but I have to research about him. I don't want to be that person that just talks nonsense. A Benfica talent. Did he come through? Let's see. Did he? I think he might have come through Benfica's system. Let's see. Did he come through Benfica? Well, he spent a year at Real, a Portuguese team, in his youth career, and yeah, he came through Benfica's. System. We've been linked with Luis since 2018. 24 years old, Portuguese player. He hasn't had an international cap for Portugal at a senior level. I think. Does that say a lot? I don't know. But a bit about him. 24 years old, defensive midfielder, 6 foot. And I'm reading this from Wikipedia, by the way, guys. Come through Benfica, spent a year on loan at Monaco, spent a year on loan at Getafe. Didn't really have a breakthrough year at Monaco or Getafe, but now he is part of Benfica's first team. He's been a key part of Portugal's youth football, but hasn't got into the senior team. And you know that Portuguese midfield is stacked. Now, what kind of player is he? He is a 6. He plays as the 6. He's the defensive. He plays more in the defensive role for his offensive partners. Aggressive tackling, can read the game well, break down the play, and mark and anticipate. So he's got a good reading of the game and his challenges. Essentially, he sounds like what I've been saying United need. United just need someone that sits in front of the midfield. He's known best for his tactical discipline, his intelligence, his ability to win the ball, and his defensive prowess. He's a composed passer and an excellent reader of the game, and can link the defense to the attack. He's got good passing and tries to read his opponents very well under pressure. And has the ability to cut off passing lanes. Who has he been compared to, bro? The 2 players he's been compared to is serious comparisons. He's been compared to Claude Makelele and N'Golo Kante. Now, I've seen that he's been linked to Spurs. I've seen that he's also been linked in the past to Real Madrid, and also mentioned by Abe's World, he's been linked to Manchester United. He sounds like a direct comparison to someone like Manuel Ugarte and someone like Mohamed Kamara. That's what he sounds like. That player that just sits in front of the midfield now. What's the likelihood that Benfica will sell João Neves and their defensive midfielder? I don't think so. And Benfica clearly are the kind of team that want a bit of money. Benfica don't keep players to just keep them. They keep players to build assets and create, monetary valuations. And if that's the case, I don't know. I feel like with Manuel Ugarte, I feel like United are set on him. Do you lot feel the same? Because I kind of feel like Man United are set on a player like Manuel Ugarte. But you know what? Who is it that asked me to do a comparison? I will do a video comparison. Who is it? Let me so I can shout you out. Jay, I will do a video comparison. I'll record a video comparison to compare. I'll compare Luis Ugarte, Zubimendi, and Mohamed Kamara. I'm only throwing in Mohamed Kamara because I like him and I really wish Manchester United would sign him. But they also, the four of them do seem like the most four in line with each other. So I will do a comparison of that. Big up to Rua Wuri. That is actually a tongue twister, guys. Rua Wuri. I'm so sorry if I've said it wrong. Says, keep up the good work, Sister Minna. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for the super chat. And gifted 5 memberships. But listen, 5 of you lot have somehow finessed another membership on the channel. We are going to have, guys, a member-only live stream Q&A this week, only for members. So if you're not a member, I'm sorry, you're going to miss out. Where we're going to talk about everything football and non-football related. We'll do a 1 hour-ish stream. We might even do like play some games, maybe play like footy bingo. I was playing footy bingo yesterday. Might do that. Big up to Staffy for the idea for that. So I'm going to do a member-only live stream this week, inshallah. Maybe I'll do a poll on the community tab and we'll decide a time, because I know a lot of people here in the community are all across the world. Africa, Europe, Far East Asia, America. So time zones is a big, big deal. So we need to figure out a time that works for all the members, or as much members as possible. Who got memberships in the chat? Dan got a membership. Sully, Jarvis, Black Amora got one, and Ismail got one. Big up to everyone that got it. Listen, make sure you use your membership only perks, because you get emojis that other people don't get. And we're going to add some more emojis over the week as well. So if you have any suggestions of players, should I add a Euro? I think I should add an Onana. I don't know. I think I should add an Onana. But there you go, guys. There we have it. The stream ran a whole half hour over. I didn't even get the chance to go have my dinner before the full view. We are live on United View in the next 6 minutes. 6 minutes. So in those 6 minutes, I'm going to get up, go make myself a cup of tea, stretch my legs and all of that kind of stuff. And then later this evening, I will be doing Elden Ring. Elden Ring this evening, guys. This evening, after I have my dinner, all of that stuff. And if I don't do it today, I promise you, I'm doing it tomorrow. But as well, we will be back tomorrow for the usual one. Hopefully, we might have a Here We Go. If we do get a Here We Go between then and tomorrow, I will be live to talk about it. Big up to everyone locked in. Listen, big up to everyone in the community, everyone that sent super chats, gifted memberships. Shout out to everyone that helped me reach 5K, because that was a goal of mine. My goal was always to just get 1,000 subscribers, and now we got 5,000, and the next step, inshallah, is 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then the sky is the limit. The sky is already the limit now. Big up to everyone for being part of the journey, whether you were there from the beginning when we started the channel last year, whether you've joined at some point and you found me in some other manner. Big up to everyone. Make sure you follow me on all platforms here at Minna Football, Instagram, TikTok, Twitch. We post on TikTok every other day. We post on Instagram every other day. I'm consistent on Twitter. You always see me tweeting some nonsense. So make sure you follow me all on every other platform. Big up to everyone. Don't go anywhere, because we're going to go straight to United View, and we'll be live on United View. I need to go turn on the kettle quickly. We'll be live on United View in 4 minutes time. And when you get to the chat, guys, just put minions emojis. You lot know what it is. I'm out. I'll see you lot in a bit on United View. Much love. Peace.